minority, in fact, has been wading into this matter, indicating that President Akufo-Addo must institute an inquiry into events leading to the cancellation, for instance, of the GCPC power agreement. The termination of that contract has led to the award of some $140 million in judgment debt against the state, with Ghanaian properties abroad at risk of being auctioned to defray the debt. But the NDC MP for Pro-East, who is a former power minister, Govt Donkor, says the explanations are not enough and that a full-blown investigation or presidential inquiry alongside parliamentary probe can help Ghana learn from, for the future as well. He's been speaking to the press in Parliament.
First of all, I call for two inquiries. One at the level of the presidency. The president might institute an internal inquiry to unravel what led to this. You see, cabinet is advisory to the president. Cabinet is not the final decision taker of the land in terms of executive power. Cabinet is advisory to the president. So the president in cabinet is a different business, because then the president has the power. And that is why I'm calling on the president to institute an internal inquiry for two reasons. To know where we really went wrong in terms of the process and what lessons that we have to learn as a nation at the level of the executive to avoid a recurrence going forward. Ghana is a going concern. So that is one. Then at the level of the legislature, since the decision to terminate was taken by the executive arm of government, it is the legislature that has oversight responsibility over the executive. We also have to set up an inquiry to find out who was culpable and why this happened and why we've been burdened with over $140 million liability.
Well, there's more from Dr. Govt Donkor, who says that the arguments about excess capacity does not make sense, as the country could export the excess power to neighboring countries. Here's what he had to say.
The Amandi and the Jacobson plants, the government decided that, okay, rather than come on stream in year X, you come on stream in year X plus 2, and you come on stream in year X plus 3. And exactly that happened. So this plant could have also been delayed if we were so minded. But I sincerely believe that we went about this wrongly. And there may be reasons that I do not know why they decided that this particular contract should be terminated. But even in terminating, we were so incompetent in process. Even in termination, we displayed incompetence in following the process set out by the contract. And that is part of our problem.
Okay, so will there be a parliamentary probe into this matter? Fortunate to have the Honourable Samuel Atta Akyea, who's joining us via Zoom now, also a member of the Energy Committee in Parliament. Thank you, sir. And you've been inundated with a number of probes already, looking into some other aspects of national discourse. But now the point about Trafigura and what's happening to the state, we're at the risk of losing state properties and interest abroad simply because we're not able to pay this $140 million in judgment debt. First off, you're a lawyer as well. Your own assessment about the kind of defense we've put in and leading us to where we are today. Was this avoidable in your view? We seem to be having a challenge with you, sir. If you could kindly unmute your microphone so we can hear the points you're sharing with us, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Yes. I want to assert that I wouldn't want to do any post-mortem as to what has happened. But what I've been told in the strongest term that won't plunge the nation into doom so. So every solution that is needed to solve the problem will be solved. Because half the time, the cheapest way to go is to apportion blame and the rest of them. But the real thing is to find a solution. And the minister and the government are poised to resolve the problems and the difficulties we are facing. But the good news is that it is not the timetable of this nation that will be plunged into doom so. That's all I have to say for now.
And I recall that at the start of the formation of your government, the NPP government, you were heavy on reforming or perhaps reassessing the kinds of energy deals that we were signing at the time as a state. Looking back, do you feel that that policy perhaps was made in a hasty manner and the need for us now to rework all of the approach and posture that you adopted at the start of the formation of this government?
Well, initially there was that posture, but if you care to know, look at Mary. It was negotiated positively for the benefit of the country. So it was not a wholesale setting aside of everything that NDC did, but it was a kind of bespoke way of solving the problem. So I don't believe that there's anything untoward that the NPP did in trying to tinker out contracts. If a contract was going to sort of, hemorrhage the nation, a serious government would not sit by for it to happen. So some of the negotiations were good. On top of my head is Mary, and we are the beneficiaries of it.
The point about excess capacity and whether or not the nation should be mindful of that while signing take-or-pay agreements. Do you feel that, looking at the spectrum now, excess capacity should not be the problem and that we should be focusing more on the financing arrangements?
Well, I am of the view that it doesn't accord with common sense to sign on, contracts when you know that you might not be able to even use the facility and take the benefit of the power, but you sign. For me, that is even causing financial loss to the state. So therefore, we should look at our need and then the financial arrangement. It's a combination of the two, which will make a lot of economic sense for the future of this country. Those that, just because of whatever, do not have an arrangement in which we are signing contracts. And you will see that if power is generated and you don't use it, you pay for it. I think it's very repugnant to commercial sense here.
Right. We're just hearing from the minority side of the House. They are first of all asking for a probe into this matter and also describing the government side as being incompetent in cutting down or perhaps revising some of these contracts. Your response?
Well, they say that the pot calling the kettle black. If you look at that horrible record of doomsday, it doesn't compare with what is happening now. So one-off situation should not be anything that should sort of bring agitation and alarm. So they should stop the ambulance way of looking at problems, and let's see how we find solutions to it. But what I'm assured of is that if there is a problem, it's not going to be a perennial doomsday situation. Maybe that is a prayer of some people so that there will be equalization. But it wouldn't happen under Akufo-Addo's watch.
And how long are you projecting that this situation might persist? You'd have to take that point for us again. Kindly unmute, sir, one more time.
Well,
yes.
I don't have the technical...
Hello, sir. Just make that point for us. Kindly unmute and make... Yes, loud and clear now. I was asking about the estimated time, perhaps, that per the official reports that you're receiving on this.
Well, I've not received any official report on the matter, but right. I can assure you that it will be resolved. I do not think that we're going to go back into the situation that we plunge into permanent darkness and for years. I think they will resolve it as quickly as possible. Because this is the policy direction of the government, that it will be inimical to the economy and the arrangements we find ourselves in to plunge the nation back to do so. So any technical solution will come speedily. That's the thinking of the government.
Kojopoku was just joining us a couple of minutes ago, asking that we call out the officials of JNPC for negligence of duty. Do you share the same view that they might have slept on the job, a reason for which we're where we are today?
I do not think so. You know, anybody who has a sense of this nation, should know that there are cash challenges. The fact that I even went to IMF should let you know that we have serious financial challenges we're looking at. If you look at it from that perspective, we should have patience for issues to bounce back. And if we owe, we pay. Look at how the energy sector has been sustained all these years under President Akufo-Addo. I'm telling you that he's done the yeoman's job as far as the energy sector is concerned. But when you have financial challenges, as we find ourselves in, sometimes it's a cash situation, not incompetence. If we improve our cash situation and we have a leeway to pay money under contractual obligations, the president and the energy minister will be the first to, pay money, and then that's the end of the problem. But what I've been educated,
Yeah, and Council, that's where many say if there's a reason to doubt government, it should be at this point, to the point that you're raising about being cash-strapped or perhaps finding ourselves in a financial difficulty. Is the reason for which some say, even if you're giving us timelines, giving us hope that something will change, things will work for the better. They doubt that because of the economic situation in which we find ourselves. So we're going back to the dark days of doom, so as some are putting it.
Well, you see, you have energy as the heartbeat of the economy. There's one central, economic activity, which is primordial to the function of the entire economy. Please credit them with wisdom that they will not plunge us into darkness, because then to worsen the crisis of this nation. So if they have to squeeze water out of stone to meet that particular strategic need, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh and the finance minister and the presidency will put the requisite arrangement in place to ensure that we will not plunge into so. This assurance, they've been saying it, and they've been giving it to the Ghanaians. I think we shouldn't be people who want to say that, well, we pray that it happens so that we have equalization. It's not going to happen.
Okay, we'll take your word on that and wait to see what then happens. And I guess we are all praying that our lights be on. I'm not sure that we are waiting for the country to plunge into darkness again. But thank you so much for spending some time with us, Lawyer Samuel Atta Akyea, speaking to us here on The Pulse.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you too.
Thanks for having me.
Right.